The rain hammered the roof like God's own judgment. But Alex didn't hear it over the shatter of his father's whiskey glass against the kitchen wall. "You're not my son anymore," Dad spat, his voice a venomous whisper that cut deeper than any shout, eyes wild with the kind of fear that masquerades as fury. In that instant, Alex knew. Coming out wasn't just words, it was exile, and the front door slamming behind him was the first crack in the world he'd called home. Alex stumbled down the driveway of the modest ranch-style house in suburban Ohio, the kind of place where American flags fluttered on every porch and pickup trucks gleamed under carports like badges of normalcy. It was July, but the sky had turned biblical, unleashing a downpour that soaked through his thin t-shirt in seconds, chilling the sweat of terror on his skin. 19 years old, fresh out of high school, and now this kicked out for being gay, for daring to say it aloud after years of burying it under football practices and forced grins at church potlucks. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Mom, probably, but he couldn't face her yet. Not after Dad's face had twisted like he'd seen the devil himself. He made it 2 blocks before the text came through. "Go to Uncle Mike's. He's expecting you. Sort yourself out." Uncle Mike? Alex's stomach lurched. Michael Hargrove wasn't blood, but he'd been Dad's college buddy, the one who showed up at barbecues with stories of Wall Street glory and a Bible quote for every occasion. Last Alex heard, Mike ran some ministry in upstate New York, helping lost souls find their way back to the straight and narrow. Ex-gay therapy, whispered rumors in the youth group. Dad's Hail Mary pass. The Greyhound station was a fluorescent-lit purgatory, smelling of stale coffee and desperation. Alex bought a ticket with the last of his summer job cash. Landscaping gigs that had left his hands calloused and his back aching, and slumped into a vinyl seat that stuck to his damp jeans. The bus lurched north through the night, past cornfields blurring into darkness, each mile pulling him further from the life he'd known. What if Mike was like Dad? What if this was just a prettier cage? By dawn, the bus wheezed into a small town called Elmwood, New York, quaint Main Street, white-steepled church, the works. Alex dragged his duffel bag to the address Dad had texted. A 2-story Victorian on Maple Street, paint peeling like old regrets. The door swung open before he could knock, and there stood Michael, tall, broad-shouldered, maybe 50, with salt and pepper hair cropped military short and eyes like polished steel. He wore a crisp button-down, sleeves rolled to reveal forearms veined from what looked like honest work, not just sermons. "Alex," Mike said, voice warm as fresh coffee, pulling him into a hug that smelled of aftershave and pine. "Your dad's worried sick. Come on in, kid. Let's get you dry." The house was a time capsule of mid-century charm. Hardwood floors that creaked underfoot, bookshelves groaning with theology tomes and self-help binders labeled Path to Purity. Mike's wife, no mention, no photos. Just a guest room with a quilt that screamed Grandma's attic. Alex showered off the road grime, the hot water stinging his eyes, not from soap, but from the ache of it all. When he emerged, Mike was in the kitchen, flipping pancakes like it was Sunday brunch. "Eat up," Mike said, sliding a plate over. "We start fresh here. Your dad's an old bull stubborn, but he loves you. This is a detour, not the end." Alex poked at the food, appetite fleeing. "What is this place? Exactly?" Dad said you're helping people. Mike's smile didn't waver, but his eyes flickered. Something guarded, quick as a shadow. "Redemption House. Informal, mostly. Guys like you, wrestling with inclinations. We talk, pray, build character, work the land out back, keeps the demons at bay. He leaned in, voice dropping. I know what it's like, Alex. Been there. The confusion, the shame. But you can change. I did. The words landed like a slap, soft but stinging. Change? Alex's chest tightened, memories flashing. Stolen glances at the locker room showers, the way his heart had raced when Jamie from chem class brushed his hand. This wasn't confusion. It was truth, raw and unyielding. But Mike's gaze held no judgment, only a weary empathy that made Alex wonder. Had he really been there? Or was this just Dad's echo? Days blurred into a rhythm of forced normalcy. Mornings. Bible study in the sunroom. Mike's voice steady as he unpacked verses about temptation and grace. Afternoons. Manual labor chopping wood for the fireplace, tending the overgrown garden that bordered a dense woods. Alex swung the axe with pent-up rage, each thunk echoing his silent screams. I'm not broken. I'm not. Evenings. Dinners of meatloaf and mashed potatoes, Mike sharing stories of his wild years in the 90s, parties in Manhattan, a string of bad decisions before the light found him, but cracks showed. Mike never mentioned a wife, and the house felt too quiet, too male. One night, after a particularly grueling session where Mike had prayed over him, Lord, straighten this boy's path, Alex overheard a murmur from the study. Low voices, a laugh that wasn't Mike's. He crept closer, heart pounding. Can't keep this up forever, Mike. The kid's sharp, he'll see right through. The reply was muffled, but Mike's tone was tender, laced with something that twisted Alex's gut. David, patience. It's not just for him. It's for us. David. Who the hell was David? Alex retreated to his room, pulse thundering. Sleep evaded him, the quilt twisting like accusations. By morning, the house was silent again, Mike whistling in the kitchen as if nothing had happened. But Alex watched closer now, noting the way Mike's eyes lingered on the tree lean beyond the garden, the unlocked back door that stayed ajar some nights. A week in, the isolation gnawed. No phone. Mike had confiscated it for detox, and the nearest town was a mile hike. Alex started running the woods trail at dawn, lungs burning, feet pounding dirt until his mind quieted. One morning, as fog clung to the ferns, he burst into a clearing and nearly collided with a man. Lean, mid-40s, with tousled dark hair and a jaw shadowed by stubble. He was shirtless, splitting logs with a maul, sweat gleaming on olive skin marked by faint tattoos. A compass rose on his shoulder, thorns curling down his ribs. Whoa! Easy there, the man said, lowering the tool with a grin that crinkled his green eyes. You the new stray Mike's taken in? Alex froze, breath ragged. David, the man straightened, wiping his brow. Guilty. Groundskeeper, handyman, whatever pays the bills. And you are, Alex. He extended a hand, slick with sweat, and David's grip was firm, calloused, lingering a beat too long. Electricity sparked, unbidden, and Alex yanked back, cheeks flushing. David chuckled, low and easy. Don't sweat it. Mike's got everyone jumpy. Coffee? He jerked a thumb toward a thermos on a stump. They sat on felled logs, steam rising between them like a veil. David talked freely, grew up in Brooklyn, bounced around jobs after the Marines, ended up here fixing what Mike couldn't. Place is half therapy, half monastery, he said, sipping black brew. Mike's intense, but he's solid. Saved my ass more than once. Alex nodded, but questions burned. You live here? Nah. Cabin in the woods. Keeps things uncomplicated. David's gaze flicked to Alex's mouth, then away. You settling in okay? First week's the worst. It's bullshit, Alex blurted, the words escaping before he could cage them. I'm not some project. I like guys. That's me. Dad thinks prayer and push-ups fix it. David's expression softened. No pity, just understanding, deep as the hollows under his eyes. Yeah. Takes guts to say that out loud. Most guys here. They run from it. He stood, brushing bark from his jeans. Stick around. Woods are good for thinking. Or yelling. Whatever. Alex watched him vanish into the trees, maul over shoulder, a phantom ache blooming in his chest. For the first time since the bus, he didn't feel utterly alone. Back at the house, Mike was waiting, arms crossed. Saw you chatting with David. Good man. Lost his way young. But he's proof redemption works. Alex bit his tongue, the lie tasting bitter. Proof? Or something more? Nights grew longer, dreams feverish. David's laugh echoing through the rain. Mike's prayers twisting into pleas. Alex journaled in secret, pages filling with sketches. David's profile against the sunrise. Mike's shadowed study door. The pull toward the woods intensified. Excuses piling up, fetching tools, checking fences. David never pried, just shared smokes by the creek. Stories of desert nights in Iraq where stars felt closer than home. You're different, David said one afternoon, as they mended a sagging shed roof. Hammers paused, sweat dripping. Not like the others. They come broken, leave emptier. You've got fire. Alex's throat tightened. Fire gets you burned. David's hand brushed his, steadying a nail. Time stretched, the air thick with unspoken heat. Then Mike's voice boomed from the house. Lunch! And the moment shattered. But seeds were sown. That night, Alex slipped out, drawn to the cabin like a moth. It squatted in a hollow, lantern light spilling golden through windows. David sat on the steps, guitar in lap, plucking a melancholy riff that hung in the humid air. Couldn't sleep, David asked, not looking up. Alex sank beside him, knees bumping. Too much thinking. The music swelled, raw and bluesy, David's fingers dancing strings like confessions. When he sang voice gravelly, Alex leaned in, shoulder to shoulder, the contact igniting something feral. Song ended. Silence thrummed. You ever wonder, Alex whispered, if changing's just running? David set the guitar aside, turning. His eyes, inches away, held storms. Every damn day, then, soft as sin, his lips brushed Alex's, tentative, questioning. Alex surged forward, kissing back with the hunger of years denied, hands fisting David's shirt. It was messy, desperate, tasting of tobacco and need. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. Shit, David murmured. Mike can't know. The name doused Alex like ice water. Why? What's he to you? David's jaw clenched. Complicated. Old debts. Just trust me. This stays here, but secrets fester. Days later, during a group session, 3 other residents, hollow-eyed men reciting affirmations. Mike's phone buzzed. He glanced, paled, excused himself. Alex tailed him to the porch, eavesdropping through the screen. David, not now. The boy's father calls tonight. We keep it clean. A pause. Then David's voice. Tinny, clean? This charade's killing us both. Tell him, Mike, or I will. The call ended. Mike slumped against the rail, head in hands. Alex backed away, heart splintering. Us both? The truth clawed free. Michael wasn't ex-gay. He was trapped, loving David in shadows, peddling lies to save face or his soul. Betrayal burned hot. Dad's exile, Mike's facade, David's complicity. Alex ran to the woods, tears blurring the path, collapsing by the creek where rage and grief warred. How deep did the deceit run, and where did that leave him, pawn in a bigger game? Sunlight pierced the canopy like accusations, dappling Alex's face as he curled on the mossy bank, sobs racking his frame until his ribs ached. The creek babbled on, indifferent, while birdsong mocked the chaos in his head. Michael and David, lovers, hiding behind sermons and axes. It explained the glances, the late-night murmurs, the house's haunted quiet. But it gutted him, Mike, the supposed savior, peddling conversion like snake oil while nursing his own forbidden flame. And David, with his easy grins and stolen kisses, complicit in the cage. Footsteps crunched leaves. Alex bolted upright, wiping his face, to find David emerging from the underbrush, concern etching lines around his mouth. Hey, lost lamb. Saw you bolt from group. Everything all right? Alex's laugh was bitter. Shards. All right? Define it. You and Mike. How long's the lie been running? David halted, color draining. He told you. Overheard. Like everything else in this freak show. Alex surged to his feet, fists balled. You let me think he was cured. Straightened out. And you? Groundskeeper my ass, you're his. What? Dirty secret. David's shoulders sagged, defeat settling like dust. He sank onto a boulder, gesturing for Alex to join. When he spoke, voice rough, carried the weight of decades. 15 years. Met in the city, I was fresh out of the core, drowning in bars and bad choices. Mike was this hotshot trader, closeted to hell, preaching at a recovery group to keep his own demons quiet. We hooked up, fell hard. But his family's old money, evangelical royalty. Coming out, suicide. Alex paced, mud sucking at his boots. So you play house in the woods while he saves guys like me? That's love. It's survival. David's eyes met his. He built this place to atone for us, for everything. Thinks if he helps enough lost boys, God'll forgive the sin of wanting me. I stick around 'cause shit, I love him. Broken as he is, the confession hung, twisting Alex's anger into something sharper. Pity, maybe, laced with envy. And me, last night by the cabin, that real, or just pity for the new meat. David stood, closing the distance, hands hovering like he feared touching. Real as it gets. Your fire, Alex. Wake things up. But Mike, he's fragile. One wrong move, this all crumbles. Alex stepped back, the creek's chill rising. Too late. It already has. He stormed off, leaving David silhouetted against the water, a ghost in green. Back at the house, Mike was in the garden, knees muddied, yanking weeds with vicious tugs. He looked up, sensing the storm. "Son, talk to me." Alex loomed over him, voice steel. Mike, how many kids like me have you fed that change is possible line while you're balls deep in David? Mike recoiled as if slapped, trowel clattering. Color flooded his face. Shock, then shame, crumbling into tears that carved tracks in the dirt on his cheeks. God, no. Alex, please, save the prayers. Alex's chest heaved. Dad shipped me here thinking you'd fix me. But you're the fraud. Hiding behind Bible verses, 'cause facing truth's too damn hard. Mike rose slowly, hands trembling. You think it's easy? Every day, I choose this us over everything. My sister's dead because of me, disowned for lifestyle sins. I can't lose more. His voice cracked. David's my anchor. This place, it's my penance. Penance. The word echoed. Hollow. Alex saw it then, Mike. Not monster, but man. Shattered by the same world that chewed up queers like kindling. But understanding didn't erase the hurt. What about us? The guys you help? We're not penance projects. Mike's gaze dropped. I know. That's why. Lately, with you here, it's cracking me open. Seeing your fight, it's like looking at the kid I buried. Silence stretched, broken only by distant thunder rumbling south. Alex turned away, throat tight. Call Dad. Tell him I'm coming home. Or not. Whatever. He grabbed his duffel from the porch, stuffing clothes with shaking hands. The bus schedule burned in his mind, next one at dusk. Freedom, or just another road to nowhere. David intercepted him at the tree lean, truck keys jangling. Don't go like this. Talk to Mike first. He's spiraling. Alex whirled. Why? So I can watch you two play house while I choke on the hypocrisy. David's face hardened. Hypocrisy? Try love in a world that wants us dead. Mike's not perfect, he's human. Flawed as fuck. But he cares about you. Save it. Alex shoved past. But David's hand caught his arm. Gentle. Insistent. Wait. David's breath ghosted his ear. Last night wasn't pity. It was me. Seeing you. Really seeing. His lips grazed Alex's neck. A spark in the tinder. Stay. Fight with us. Not against. Temptation coiled. Hot and treacherous. Alex twisted free. But the damage was done, desire warring with disgust. He made the highway on foot. Thumb out. Rain spitting warnings. A semi rumbled to a stop. The driver, grizzled and kind-eyed, nodded to the passenger seat. Elmwood? Hop in. Kid. The miles unwound. New York fading to Pennsylvania hills. Alex's phone, snatched back from Mike's drawer, lit with texts. Dad's Kurt, where are you? Mike's pleading we need to talk. David's simple don't run. He powered it off, staring at passing billboards for diners and motels, neon promises in the gathering dark. Pittsburgh welcomed him with steel mill ghosts and river fog. He crashed at a youth hostel, bunk hard as regret, dreams tangled, Dad's rage, Mike's tears, David's kiss. Morning brought clarity or recklessness. He hitched east, toward Ohio, but detoured south on impulse, landing in a college town in West Virginia, where bars pulsed with bass and possibility. The first gay club he'd ever stepped into, sticky floors, rainbow flags limp in AC, bodies swaying under strobes. Alex nursed a cheap beer, watching couples grind, envy twisting like barbed wire. A guy approached, blonde, frat boy pretty, named Tyler. First time? You look lost. They talked, laughed, ended up in Tyler's dorm off campus, clothes shedding like old skin. It was frantic, affirming, Tyler's hands mapping him with confidence Alex craved. But dawn brought awkward goodbyes. Tyler's hit me up sometime ringing false. Alex bolted, the high crashing into loneliness sharper than before. Back on the road, thumb weary, guilt gnawed. Dad's house loomed in his mind. Not home anymore, but unfinished business. He arrived at dusk, the ranch house lights glowing like a truce flag. Mom answered the door, eyes red-rimmed, pulling him into a hug that smelled of lavender and unspoken apologies. Oh, baby. He's in the garage. Dad tinkered with the truck, wrench clanking. He looked older, lines etched deeper. Heard you ran from Mike's. What the hell? Alex. Words tumbled. The conversion charade. Mike's secret. The kiss that upended it all. Dad's face cycled. Disgust. Denial. Dawning horror. That bastard. Preaching holiness while. Jesus. He slammed the hood, knuckles white. I sent you there to fix you, not get tangled in his mess. Fix me. Alex's voice rose, echoing off concrete walls. I'm not a car, Dad. I'm gay. Your son. Gay. Dad deflated, sinking onto a stool. I know. God help me. I know. Scared shitless you'll end up like us. Hiding, hating yourself. His voice broke. My brother, your Uncle Jack. He was like you. AIDS took him in '92. Couldn't save him. Couldn't even say goodbye proper. The revelation hit like a freight train. Uncle Jack. The photos in the attic. The stories cut short. Dad's homophobia. Not hate, but grief armored in bigotry. Alex sank beside him, the air thick with oil and old wounds. You could have told me. Wouldn't change nothing. But Dad's hand found his shoulder. Tentative. Maybe it does. They sat in silence. The first bridge built on ruins. Mom brought sandwiches, her quiet strength weaving threads. That night, Alex slept in his old room, posters peeling, the world tilting toward possible. But peace fractured fast. Mike called at dawn, voice wrecked. Alex, David's gone. Packed up last night, said the lie's too big. Blames me. Blames us. Alex's heart seized. Gone. The woods without David's shadow. The cabin empty, it hollowed him. What do you want from me? Forgive me. Come back. Help me fix this. Mike's plea dripped desperation. You're the only one who sees. Torn. Alex hung up, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. West Virginia's fleeting touch lingered, but David's pull was deeper, a hook in his soul. By noon, he was on a bus north again. Mom's packed lunch in his lap. Dad's gruff "be safe" echoing. Elmwood greeted him with autumn's first chill, leaves carpeting the trail like confetti for the damned. The house stood sentinel, Mike on the porch, gaunt in flannel, a bottle dangling from fingers. You came. Where else? Alex dropped his bag. David. Mike jerked his head toward the woods. Trail to the cabin. But he's raw. The path wound tight, brambles snagging like doubts. The cabin door hung open. David inside, shoving clothes into a duffel. He froze at Alex's shadow. You shouldn't be here. Too bad. Alex crossed the threshold. Room small and lived in. Unmade bed. Guitar case. Photos thumbtacked. Mike younger. Laughing on a beach. David in fatigues. Boyish grin. David zipped the bag. Jaw set. Go back to Ohio, kid. This ain't your circus. Bullshit. Alex grabbed his wrist. You kissed me. Said I was fire. Then run 'cause Mike's scared? That's not love, that's chains. David yanked free. But his eyes betrayed him, stormy, yearning. What do you want? Alex, hero, I'll disappoint you too. I want you. The words escaped, bold and bare. Not the ghost. You. Time fractured. David closed the gap, crashing into him with a kiss that bruised, teeth and tongues, hands roaming desperate. They tumbled to the floor, rug burn and gasps, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces forged in fire. It was salvation and ruin, Alex arching under David's weight, whispers of stay and fuck the world. After, tangled in sheets that smelled of pine and sweat, reality crept in. Mike, David murmured, tracing Alex's collarbone. He'll break without us. The word bloomed, tentative family. But shadows loomed, Dad's fragile thaw, the ministry's facade, the world's unyielding grind. Dawn painted the cabin gold. Filtering through lace curtains David had hung himself. Ironic touch in a life of rough edges. Alex stirred, head pillowed on David's chest. Heartbeat a steady drum under his ear. Last night's frenzy lingered in aches and marks. A bite on his shoulder, fingerprints on hips. Reality waited outside. But here, in the hush, it was just them skin to skin, breaths sinking like a vow. David shifted, lips brushing Alex's hair. Morning, fire starter. Coffee, they brewed it strong on a hot plate, mugs steaming as they sat on the stoop, Woods whispering secrets. David lit a smoke, offering a drag. Alex declined, but the ritual soothed. What's next? Alex asked, voice small against the vast green. David exhaled smoke rings, contemplative. Next is telling Mike. All of it. No more half-truths. Alex's gut twisted. He'll hate me. Nah. David's hand squeezed his knee. Hate himself. Maybe. But you're the mirror he needs. He stubbed the cig. Standing. Come on. Face the music. The walk back was charged. Hands brushing. Anticipation thrumming. The house loomed. Mike visible through the kitchen window pacing. Phone to ear. Voice rising. Yes. Reverend. The boys stable. No relapses. He hung up as they entered. Eyes bloodshot. Landing on their linked fingers like a punch. Jesus Christ. Mike's whisper was wrecked. Chair scraping as he sank. David? You stayed. And you? His gaze flicked to Alex. Betrayal sharpening to something rawer, loss, laced with longing. David knelt before him, hands on knees. It's over, Mike. The hiding. I love you, always will, but this poison's killing us. Alex sees it. Hell, he lives it. Mike's laugh was hollow, tears spilling. Sees what? That I'm a coward? Preaching strength while I cower. He reached for David, thumbing a tear track. 15 years. Baby. We built this from nothing. And it's crumbling. David's voice gentled. Let it build real this time. Alex hovered, outsider in their orbit. But Mike's eyes pulled him in, pleading, paternal. What about you, kid? This rebellion? Or something more? Alex swallowed, stepping forward. More. I care. About both of you. But lies? They choke. He glanced at David, heat rising. We deserve air. The room held breath. Then Mike nodded, slow as surrender. All right. Call your dad. Alex. Tell him the truth about me. I'll back you. The call was a minefield. Dad answered gruff. Mom's murmur in background. Alex spilled. Mike's secret, the ministry's sham, his own heart's tangle. Silence stretched. Then Dad's exhale, ragged, resigned. Knew that place was off. Get home, son. We'll talk. Real talk. Relief flooded. Bittersweet. Mike resigned that week, shuttering Redemption House with a letter to donors. Personal reasons. Seek grace elsewhere. The other residents scattered, some angry, some grateful for the unmasking. Mike moved into the cabin temporarily, the three of them navigating the awkward dance of cohabitation. Shared meals laced with tension, nights where David slipped between beds like a bridge. But paradise cracked under scrutiny. Town whispers spread. Elmwood's a small pond. Ripples turned to waves. Grocery runs drew stares. Church elders called. Voices oily with concern. Michael. Counseling. For your arrangement. Worse. Mike's sister, Aunt Lydia, descended from Connecticut, prim in pearls, Bible under arm. She arrived unannounced, sweeping into the kitchen like a hurricane in heels. Brother dear, what fresh hell is this? Dad's rolling in his grave. Mike faced her, spine straight for the first time in years. Hell? Try freedom. LYD. I'm done pretending. Her eyes raked David. Then Alex, dismissive. Then dawning horror. Two, under one roof, repent, before it's too late. David bristled, but Alex stepped up, voice steady. Too late for lies, maybe. But love, that's eternal, right? Lydia's facade fractured, sobs racking her. Jack, our brother. You drove him away, Mike. Now this. She fled to the guest room, door slamming like judgment. That night, over whiskey by the fire pit, crackling logs warding autumn chill, Mike confessed more. Jack's story, parallel to his own. He came out first, 89. Family exiled him to California. AIDS hit hard. I visited once, held his hand while he faded. Promised I'd fight for guys like him. Instead, I hid. David draped an arm over Mike's shoulders, kissed to temple. You fought wrong. Now fight right. Alex watched. Heart-swelling family, fractured but forging. But Lydia's visit unearthed ghosts. Mike withdrew. Nightmares plaguing. Jack's gaunt face. Dad's thunderous sermons. David and Alex tiptoed, their connection deepening in stolen moments. Hikes where hands linked. Lazy afternoons in the loft. Bodies learning rhythms. One evening, Rain lashing windows. They made love slow. David's mouth mapping scars. Alex whispering promises. "We'll make it," he breathed, climax shuddering through. But doubt lingered. How long before the world demanded payment? Crisis crested mid-October. Dad drove up unannounced. Pickup rattling into the drive. Mom beside him in the cab, her first road trip in years. Alex met them on the porch, nerves jangling. Dad enveloped him in a bare hug, surprising and fierce. "Missed you, kid." Mom's eyes, soft, took in the cabin's warmth. David chopping wood, Mike emerging with cider mugs. Introductions stuttered. Handshakes awkward. Small talk strained over mugs. Dad's gaze sharpened on Mike. Heard the rumors. True. Mike met it square. True. Loved David half my life. Alex. He's part of us now. Dad's jaw ticked, but Mom laid a hand on his arm. Tom. Remember Jack? We lost him to silence. Don't lose this boy too. The words pierced. Dad nodded. Slow. Ain't easy. My Bible says love your neighbor. Alex cut in. That's us. All of us. Dinner stretched eternal. Pot roast Mike's recipe. Conversation veering from weather to weddings. Mom's gentle probe about commitments. David joked. Lightning air. Mike shared Jack's laugh. A photo passed around. By dessert, Dad thawed, even clapping David's shoulder. Marines. Huh? Respect. But dawn brought fracture. Lydia called Mike at first light, hysterical, from a payphone in Syracuse. Dad's will. Contest if you don't renounce. Family legacy. Mike. Don't throw it. Mike hung up, face ashen. Money. The house. The trust, poison pills. David's eyes flashed. Fuck the money. We walk. But Alex saw the hook. Security. The cabin's deed in Mike's name. Fight it, he urged. Legally. We're family, queer edition. Lawyer in town. A no-nonsense dyke named Rita took the case pro bono. Bigots love a will fight. We'll expose the manipulation. Depositions dragged. Lydia's tears. Dad's old letters unearthed, homophobic screeds now ammunition. Through it, bonds tempered. Thanksgiving loomed. Dad invited them all to Ohio, tentative olive branch. The drive south was a revelation. Mike and David in back, hands linked. Alex shotgun. Dad's radio flipping from country to classic rock at his nudge. Mom's pie waited. Table set for 7, uncles, cousins eyeing warily. Feast crackled, toasts to Jack, unearthed stories of his wit, his drag parties in San Fran. Dad raised glass. To family. Blood or chosen. Laughter flowed, real as the wine. But betrayal brewed distant. Lydia won an injunction. Freezing assets. Stress cracked Mike. Arguments flaring. Bottles emptying. One night, David found him in the study. Jack's photo clutched. Can't do this, Davy. Legacy's curse. David's plea. Our legacy now. But Mike shoved him away. Eyes wild. Go to Alex. He's young, deserves better. The wedge drove deep. Alex, roused by shouts, pulled David to the loft. He's scared. Hold on. Their lovemaking that night was anchor, fierce, affirming, David's body a bulwark. Love you, he gasped. First time spoken. Alex echoed, tears salting skin. Climax brewed in court. December chill. Rita shredded Lydia. Conditional love ain't inheritance. It's extortion. Judge ruled for Mike. Assets thawed. But family severed. Lydia's parting shot. In the hall. Rot in your sin. Mike emerged changed, freed. But hollowed. Jack'd be proud, he murmured, hugging Alex fierce. Winter deepened. Snow blanketing Elmwood like absolution. They decorated the cabin, lights twinkling, tree lopped from the woods. Dad sent a card. Proud of you, son. Mom visited, baking with Mike, stories swapping like recipes. But under joy, fault lines hummed. David grew restless, nights staring at ceilings, fingers drumming. City calling. He confessed one blizzard eve. Alex curled against him. Brooklyn. Gigs. Life. Not this. Stasis. Alex's heart stuttered. Us. Always. But doubt shadowed. A third in bed. New Year's dawned crisp. Fireworks popped over the frozen creek. They stood arm in arm. Mike toasting. To truths unbroken. Kisses exchanged, family. Lovers under stars indifferent. Yet spring whispered change. David booked an open mic in Albany. Then Syracuse. Just testing, he said. Alex nodded. But fear coiled. April thawed Elmwood slow. Mud sucking at boots. Dogwoods blooming pink against gunmetal skies. The cabin thrummed with routine. Mike rebuilding. Volunteering at the local LGBTQ center in Kingston, Irony Suite. Leading support groups where once he'd preached conversion. Full circle, he'd quip, ice crinkling. Alex enrolled online at community college. Graphic design classes fueling late nights sketching logos infused with rainbows and thorns. David? He gigged more. Guitar case battered from road wear. Returning with tales of dive bars and drunks who tipped in loose change. But the absences stretched. A weekend turned week in the city. Networking morphing to additions. Texts pinged. Miss you. Fire. Calls laced with static, literal, emotional. Alex buried doubt in Mike's steady presence. Shared runs, porch beers, confessions deepening. You're the son I never had, Mike said one dusk, arms around Alex's shoulders. Or the heart I denied. The words warmed, but twisted. David's shadow loomed. Jealousy? No. Fear of losing the triad's fragile balance. One rainy afternoon, Mike found Alex sketching by the window, David's profile fierce in charcoal. He's pulling away, Alex admitted, pencil snapping. Mike sighed, settling beside. Davy's a wanderer. Marines wired him that way, chase horizons. But he always circles back. Until he doesn't. Alex's voice cracked. What then? You and me? Pity project. Mike cupped his chin. Gentle. Never pity. Pride. Love you. Kid fierce. Like kin. The embrace lingered. Comfort blurring lines. Guilt followed. Sharp as betrayal. David returned mid-May. Suntanned. Duffel heavy with laundry and lies. Landed a house gig, small label. Demo time. Excitement lit him, but exhaustion shadowed eyes. Dinner was strained. Mike probing, Alex silent, fork pushing peas. Bed claimed them, but passion faltered. David's touches wrote. Mind elsewhere. Tell me, Alex whispered post-climax. Sticky and spent. David rolled away, back a wall. It's nothing. Pressure. Liar. Alex sat up, sheets pooling. City's got you. Or someone in it. David's laugh was tired. Paranoid much? This music. Alex. Dream I shelved for Mike. The name ignited. For us. Don't rewrite history. Silence festered. Morning brought frost. David gone before dawn. Note, studio run. Love you. Mike. In kitchen. Poured coffee. Storm brewing. Alex nodded, spilling doubts. Mike listened, then talked to him. Before it festers. Confrontation came at the creek. David fly fishing. Line whipping graceful. Alex approached quiet, skipping stones. Truth time. David reeled in. Empty hook glinting. Shoot. The city's not just gigs. There's a guy saw the text. Can't wait to see you again. D. David deflated. Rod dropping. Fuck. Yeah. Leo session bassist. One night. Drunk. After a set. Meant nothing. Nothing. Alex's voice rose. Echoing water. We're building here home. You sneak off. Play house elsewhere. David's temper flared. Building? Mike Center. Your classes. I'm the odd man. Chopping wood while you two bond like dads and sons. Hurt-laced venom. Leo's easy. No baggage. The slap landed, metaphorical, but stinging. Alex reeled. So I'm baggage? The kid who crashed your secret? No. David reached, but Alex dodged. Go then. Chase easy. He stormed off, tears hot, leaving David cursing the current. Mike found him in the loft, curled fetal. Heard the splash, sat heavy, hand on back. Davy's scared of settling, of failing us. Us. Alex sat up, searching Mike's face. You knew. Mike nodded. Shame flicker. Suspected. Wanted him to choose clean. Clean hurts. Alex leaned in. Foreheads touching, intimacy born of shared ache. Mike's hand cupped his neck. Thumb stroking pulse. The air shifted. Charged. Alex's breath hitched. Leaning closer. Lips met soft. Exploratory. Tasting of salt and sorrow. Deepened. Hands roaming tentative. Mike's shirt unbuttoned. Alex's fingers tracing chest hair silvered. They paused. Breaths mingling. This. Wrong. Mike whispered. Feels right. Alex pulled him down. Bodies aligning familiar yet new. Lovemaking unfolded slow. Reverent. Mike's experience guiding. Alex's youth igniting. Climax crested quiet. Waves of release washing guilt temporary. After. Tangled. Mike murmured. David'll understand. Or not. But this us it's real. Doubt whispered. Betrayal. Again. David returned at dusk. Face thunderous. Duffel slung. Where is he? Burst into loft. Freezing at the rumpled bed. Alex pulling on jeans. You. David's voice broke. With Mike? After everything. Alex stood tall. You started it, Leo. The lies. David's laugh was shattered glass. So revenge? Fuck that. He whirled on Mike. Entering behind. You preach truth. Then steal my boy. Mike rose. Calm. No stealing. Loving. Like you should've. Open. David's fist clenched. Alex stepped between. Stop. We're all breaking. Talk. Don't hit. Words erupted. Accusations flying, David's wandering, Mike's possessiveness, Alex's youth bridging cracks. Voices rose, then fell to sobs. David sank to the floor, head in hands. Lost it all. For what? They folded around him, arms, apologies, truths bared. Not lost, Mike said. Found. Messy, but ours. Night healed tentative. Bodies entwined platonic. Breaths sinking forgiveness. Morning brewed plans, counseling. All three. At the center Mike now ran. No more secrets, David vowed. Hand in Alex's. Mike's on his shoulder. Summer scorched. Tensions simmering low. David cut city ties. Focusing local bar gigs drawing crowds. His blues raw with redemption. Alex's designs sold online. Funding a ring. Simple bands. Engraved truth unbroken. Proposals whispered. Not marriage, but commitment Polly. Proud. But world intruded. Dad's heart attack hit August mild. But wake up. Alex raced to Ohio. David and Mike trailing. Hospital vigil. Mom's vigil. Dad's gruff knew you'd come. In private, he gripped Alex's hand. Proud, son, of your fight. Your family. Tears fell mutual. Discharge brought change. Dad attending PFLAG meetings. Mom hosting dinners. Lydia, radio silence. But a letter arrived. Apology scrawled. Tentative. Forgive. Fall painted fiery. Harvest moon lit their first wedding. Backyard. Rita officiating. Friends from center witnesses. Vows exchanged. Mike to David. 15 more. Unbroken. David to Alex. Fire forever. Alex closing circle. Truth for all. Joy peaked. But undercurrent hummed. David's eyes distant some nights. Guitar strings plucked restless. Climax shattered November Eve. Rain relentless. David missing gig. Phone dead. Search parties fanned. Woods. Roads. Alex's dread peaked at the creek. Boots tracked mud. Guitar case bobbing. Note pinned. Can't breathe. Sorry. Panic clawed. They found the truck cliffside. Elmwoods overlook. Precipice to ravine. David inside. Engine off. Staring void. Alex yanked door. Pulling him out. Rain mingling tears. Why? David crumpled. Leo called. Offered tour real shot. But leaving kills me. You, Mike home. But cage. Mike arrived. Coat flapping. No cage. Wings. Davy. Fly. Then return. Words poured. Fears bared. Abandonment. Failure. Huddled in truck cab. Rain drumming. They recommitted, open. Honest. David stayed. Tour declined. Counseling deepened. Boundaries drawn. Winter wrapped gentle. Holidays blended. Ohio for turkey. Elmwood for lights. Dad carved bird. Toasting chosen blood. Lydia appeared. Fragile, embrace tentative. Healing begun. Spring 2026 bloomed promise. David's album local hit. Alex's exhibit. Mike's book From Shadows to Light. They stood stronger. Triad tempered in fire. Love not perfect, but profound. Yet truth's cost lingered. Scars. Doubts. One dawn. Alex traced David's tattoos. Whispering. Worth it. David's kiss answered. Every burn. Summer 26 sweltered. humidity thick as unspoken vows. Elmwood's woods a green haze where secrets once hid now openly picnicked. The triad's rhythm solidified. Mornings shared, coffee black for David, sweet for Alex, spiked for Mike. Afternoons divergent, studio for David, canvas for Alex, sessions for Mike. Evenings converged, bodies and stories intertwining under lantern glow. No jealousy now, just equity, rotations fluid, hearts expansive. But expansion bred exposure. Pride Month hit, Kingston's parade a riot of color. Floats blaring Madonna, leathers gleaming, signs love wins. They marched as unit, Mike in rainbow kilt, David drumming portable kit, Alex waving queer family banner. Cheers swelled, cameras flashed. Local paper ran feature, Redemption House reborn, from conversion to celebration. Mike's face, beaming beside lovers, splashed front page. Backlash brewed swift. Church pickets at the center, sinners repent. Hate mail piled, slurs scrawled, threats veiled. Dad called, worried, eyes on you now, son. Careful, but Alex felt alive, visible, vital. David's rising star pulled harder. Festival invites, radio spots. One weekend, Ithaca, he promised July 4th, kissing them goodbye. Alex and Mike waved from porch, hands linked, but unease stirred echoes of old fractures. The weekend stretched, texts lagged. Mike distracted with center crisis, a kid, like Alex once, exiled by folks. Name's Riley, Mike said over dinner. Ice fierce. 16. Terrified. Reminds me, they housed him temporary, loft bed freshened. Riley, freckled, wiry, eyes wide as saucers. Thanks, mister. Mike. Won't be trouble. Nights. Stories swapped. Riley's closet horrors. Alex's echo. Mike mentored gentle. David texting approvals. Good on ya. But when David returned, tanned and triumphant, Riley's gaze lingered, crush blatant. Awkward. David laughed it off. Puppy love. Been there, but Alex caught the flush. The extra coffees poured. Mike noticed too. Brow furrowing over books. August scorched tempers. David's label pushed. Tour. 6 weeks. Europe. Argument erupted post-dinner. Riley retreated to loft. Europe. Mike's voice rose. Rare edge. We just healed, now bolt? David paced. Guitar case open like wound. Not bolting. Building. For us royalties. Security. Alex mediated. Heart splitting. Go. But come back whole. David's eyes pleaded. Promise. Tour launched September. Airports tearful, kisses lingering. Mike's hug bone crush. Absence amplified. Alex Davart. Murals for center. Fists raised. Hearts intertwined. Mike and Riley bonded, fishing trips. Talks deep. Alex joined. But outsider twinge. Youth bridging. Him the bridge burned? David's calls crackled. Berlin clubs electric. London fog romantic. Miss your heat, he'd murmur. Voice husky. Alex reciprocated. But static warped, distance. Not just miles. October chill brought homecoming. Airport reunion. David windburned. Vinyls clutched. Brought gifts. Hugs group. But nights rekindled, bodies ravenous. Stories devouring. Riley's crush festered subtle. Sidelong glances. Chores overdone. One eve, catching David alone in kitchen. Riley cornered. You're everything. If Alex wasn't. David gentle. Firm. Kid. No. I'm taken twice over. But words leaked. Alex overheard. Rage flaring misplaced. Confrontation kitchen lit. Flirting with the kid? After tour temptations. David reeled. Temptations? Leo was ancient professional. Riley's a boy. Confused. Mike intervened. Voice steel. Enough. Riley's vulnerable, we protect. But seed sown, trust eroded. November elections loomed. Air thick hate. Anti-LGBT bills whispered. Center vandalized. Windows smashed. Fags burned spray. Police shrugs. Kids. Mike raged. David armed patrols. Alex sketched protests. Stress peaked Thanksgiving, Ohio bound. Riley fostered temporary with aunt. Dad's table fuller. Lydia tentative. Pie in hand. Trying, she whispered to Alex. Toasts warmed. But news intruded. National scan. Conversion camps closing. But backlash bills passing. Return brought storm. David. Post-gig. Confessed over fire pit. Tour offer. Full album. Stateside. 3 months. Mike's face shuddered. Again? We need you here. Us. The fight. David's defiance. Fight needs funds. I'm providing. Alex silent. Then choose. Us or road. Ultimatum hung. David stormed woods. Mike followed. Alex trailing. Clearing confrontation. Voices raw. Rain starting. I'm torn, David yelled. Love you both fierce. But music's me. Can't suffocate. Mike soft. Never asked. Just balance. Alex, we're your harmony. Don't solo. Dawn broke truce. Tour accepted. Shorter 6 weeks. Calls daily. Visits woven. December glittered compromise. Holidays blended. Cabin lit. Ohio snowed. New Year's. Under fireworks. Rings renewed. Vows updated. Wander. But return. Winter waned gentle. Riley came out strong. Aunt supportive. Graduated foster. College bound. Oh, you, he hugged Alex. Families chosen. Spring 27 bloomed resilient. David's album dropped. Charts climbing, single truths fire Alex inspired. Video them 3. Woods walking. Reviews raved. Raw romance. Queer kin. Summer tour kicked. Alex joined segments. Sketching backdrops. Mike held fort. Center thriving. Nights motel shared. Laughter. Loving. Lessons. But climax crested July. Chicago stop. Post-show high, crowd roaring. After party pulsing. David pulled onstage guest Leo. Bass thumping. Alex watched from wings. Gut twisting old. After. Hotel suite. Champagne fizzed. But Alex confronted. Leo again? On stage parade. David sighed. Collab. Nothing more. Mike. Via video. Trust. Remember. But photos leaked. David. Leo. Arms slung. Captions sly. Tour romance? Tabloids pounced. Ex-gay gurus lover strays. Backlash tsunami. Center calls flooded. Hate. Doubt. Dad texted hold ground. Lydia emailed support. First. David returned shattered. Ruined it. 4 clicks. No. Strengthened. Press conference Mike called. Our story messy. Real. Love's not linear. David beside. Alex handheld. Media spun positive. Poly pioneers. Fall harvested growth. Album gold. Book tour mics. Alex's gallery solo. Thanksgiving 27. Full table Riley and Lydia thawing. Dad's health toast. To enduring. Winter whispered closure. Christmas Eve. Snow blanketing. David knelt cabin floor. Guitar soft. Marry me? Us three legal as we can. Hearts forever. Rings exchanged dawn. Simple. Etched unbroken. Vows tear-salted. Mike's wisdom. David's fire. Alex's hope. Years blurred forward. Center expanded. David's arenas filled. Alex's murals cities wide. Challenges came, health scares. Losses but bonds held. Humanistic core. Love as verb. Truth as light. One dusk. Aged but aglow. They sat porch. Mike gray. David lined. Alex matured. Woods whispered. Creek sang. Worth the break? Alex asked. David's grin. Every shatter. Rebuilt stronger. Mike's arm around. Human. Flawed. Full. Sun dipped. Painting gold. In America's heartland. Three souls once fractured. Endured. A testament. Coming out breaks worlds. But truth rebuilds. Romantic and raw.